was a time when I was really wanting success, and I was dealing with my own stuff. I was growing me. When I was a young man. He was also a young man, but he was like this rock star already. And he was going to be doing an event in Detroit, Michigan. And he had a new line going there, and he was chasing the business with this new line. And I called him up, and he was like 8 levels above me or something. I said, Jeff, somehow somebody gave me your phone number or whatever, and I ended up getting you on the phone, which I was grateful for. And I said, Jeff, if I come to Detroit, can I just watch you? And you're like, oh, I could tell, it's just like, you probably get that quite a bit. And I've had tons of people ask me, can I just watch what you do in a day? So I got in the car, and you said sure. So I got in the car and I drove over, and I slept in my car. I didn't have enough money to stay in the hotel where you were staying and
Been there.
doing your presentations. Sleeping in the car, doing the presentations, and so I'm hanging out with you. And a couple of things that I learned from this, it was really interesting. One is, one joke you told, he said, Eric, did you hear? I said, what? He said, I won the lottery. I said, no. He said, yeah, really? I said, no, get out of here. He said, no. I said, I can't believe it. He said, yeah, network marketing. I won the lottery, man. I get paid every single month, but it's just not for, a 10-year buyout. It's a lifetime. I'm like, so you probably don't remember this, right?
Not quite.
So the other thing is I watched him do presentations. He was chasing the business, and his new line there was just putting people in front of him. And he did the presentation, and you know what? It was the same. Over and over and over and over. He'd tell the same story. He'd tell the same joke. He'd introduce it exactly the same way. He would do the compensation plan literally almost word for word, same pause, same inflection in his voice. I watched him do it 10 times, 15 times, 20 times over the course of 3 days. And I was just stunned, and it was so fun. I did a little homework, went onto your website and stuff. I'm listening to some conference calls. I'm listening to do the presentation, and it's the same. It's the same. I mean, he added a few things, just a few words, but the same. The reason why I got such a big smile on my face as I'm watching this is I'm listening to all the stuff that brought me up. For things to change, you got to change. You got to strike while the iron's hot. It's not about me, it's about we. All these different things that he's just lived, these concepts. And so, so the consistency. I see so many people, including myself. You get bored with your own presentation. So because you're bored with it, you start tinkering with it, and it starts to become this monstrosity versus remembering it's about that new prospect.
Sure.
And what did you tell me last night? It's easier to get a new audience than it is to get a new presentation. So focus on the people you can't see and tell a new story versus trying to entertain the few people that you're too lazy to get around. You know what I mean? So anyway, it's been inspiring to me for a long time. But talk about just this consistency thing. I mean, as far as doing the presentation, do some people say, well, hey, give me a different presentation every once in a while?
I'm always growing.
Yeah.
And I'm always, I'm a true believer that, today you're the student, tomorrow you're the teacher. And I'm always immersing myself in a learning environment and growing and taking notes.
Talk about that, because he's been around. He's made more money than anybody. He's sitting in the front row at events. And you're always taking notes. He's got his journal stacked here in front.
Here's an example. I use a journal, and if you look in my journal, I've got things highlighted in there after I've taken my notes. But I take notes. Short pencil's better than a long memory. First of all, and it's not when you remember; it's when you can't forget. And I take notes not as if I'm only taking notes for myself, but as if I'm going to teach this to someone. The fastest path to mastery is not only to apply it and integrate it into your life, but to teach it, to share it. Mm-hmm. So my presentation, the basics, the fundamentals of what our business is all about, that doesn't change. Like I said, concepts are constant, techniques vary, there's different means and ways. So yeah, it's easier to get a new audience than it is a new presentation. I mean, when you've got something that works, keep it simple, keep it duplicatable.